Deputy Commissioner of Police is calling for a complete reform of Jamaica's judicial system. This is Undiluted News. Mikey Bones reporting. Fitz Bailey, Deputy Commissioner of Police, is calling for a complete reform of the Jamaica judicial system, including penal institutions to address the country's long-standing issue of violence. And his remark comes as the country records multiple murders in a series of shooting incidents. DCP Bailey announced on Wednesday that there had been 85 double murders in Jamaica this year compared to 95 last year. He also stated that the country has reported 16 triple murders, down from 17 last year. So far this year, 4 quadruple murders have occurred compared to 2 during the same period in 2022. According to Bailey, imprisoned individuals are responsible for several of the murders since they issued instructions from behind bars. He has therefore urged that proper programs be established in the correctional system to reform inmates. And from outside looking in, Jamaica is a breeding ground for criminals as most of the youths have no direction and have no one to guide them. Some of the people they were supposed to look up to are just as bad as the criminals, and most are a disappointment, from religious members of the church to politicians and even teachers. And then you have another set who bad from the day they're born, and nothing can curb them except a gunshot. Sound hard, but are the truth. Some even get the opportunity to migrate and come a foreign. And what they do, they try mash up the people of them country until the feds or the RCMP hold them and dip them back to Jamaica, or they end up in jail. The St. James police have laid charges against a 32-year-old man accused of raping a 15-year-old student. The man has also been charged with producing sex tapes of his assault of the teenager over a 3-year period. Investigators reported that between January 2020 and this month, the 32-year-old deliveryman of Tucker in St. James sexually assaulted the underage girl, and he was arrested and charged on Tuesday after a complaint was filed with the police. And he has been charged with rape, sexual grooming, sexual touching, and using a child in the production of child pornography. And this was over a 3-year period, so he started to rape her when she was 12. And we gotta ask, what happened to her parents? Did they know or did they not know what was happening? Did they encourage this? And those are the questions. A 17-year-old Petersfield High School student and a man have been arrested and taken into custody after a gun was found at a premises while searching for a wanted man. And it's reported that members of the police military team carried out a joint operation targeting a fugitive who goes by the name Ricardo Clapton, otherwise called Ricky, during an operation at premises along Darling Street in Savlamar. And during a search of the premises, one Taurus 357 Magnum revolver was found wrapped in a shirt in the wall of an abandoned house. The 17-year-old and the man who were at the premises were arrested and later charged. Meanwhile, 4 men who were placed on trial 4 years ago for money laundering after being accused of being a major player in an international drug trafficking network between Jamaica and the United States were freed yesterday afternoon before the St. James Parish Court. The men, 57-year-old builder contractor Robert Dunbar, 50-year-old Delroy Gale, 45-year-old businessman Louis Simmet, and Melford Daly, were charged by the Major Organization Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency MOCA and the Financial Investigations Division in a major investigation took place between the Jamaica and the U.S. Law Enforcement Agency in 2013. Prosecutors had accused the men of being involved in an international drug trafficking and money laundering ring. The accused were charged after a man said to be one of their associates was convicted in 2012 and was sentenced to 27 years in the U.S. He later decided to cooperate with American prosecutors and their Jamaican counterparts in their investigations of the other men. The United States normally have convictions while Jamaica have acquittal. So the man arrested in the U.S., he went to jail for 27 years, while the 4 in Jamaica gone home scotch-free. And that is how our justice system works in Jamaica. And despite the declaration of a state of public emergency in St. James, armed gunmen continue to commit heinous crimes throughout the parish. 2 men were killed in separate shootings on Wednesday. They have been named as Quincy Foster, 28, a mechanic from Post Office Hill in Cambridge, and Romaine Wright, 26, a Glendevon contact center agent. Residents of Rosemount in Cambridge reported hearing explosions at 1:50 p.m. and phoned the police. Mr. Foster's body was eventually discovered with several gunshot wounds when the police arrived. And according to investigators, Mr. Foster was being probed for the shooting of a man in that same community, and his death might have been a form of retaliation. And in the second incident about 7:30 p.m., JDF personnel were holding a checkpoint in Hollywood in Norwood when they were alerted that individuals with firearms had been observed in the Glendevon area. The soldiers entered the area and saw a man lying on his back along the roadway in a pool of blood with what appeared to be several gunshot wounds. Mr. Wright was rushed to hospital and was pronounced dead. More than a dozen spent shells was discovered at that location. The authorities recently declared a state of emergency in St. James due to an increase in murders and shootings. And since January, the parish has registered more than 160 murders, which is the highest in the country. Westmoreland continued to compete with St. James as the most murderous parish. A disc jockey was fatally shot when a group of armed thugs stormed a nightclub in Broughton District in Little London, Westmoreland on Wednesday night. The deceased has been identified as 37-year-old Devroy Barnes, otherwise called DJ Myrie, a resident of Mango Hill in Little London. About 7:30 p.m., patrons were inside a Hypnosis nightclub on Broughton Road when 8 men armed with handguns and rifles entered and demanded money. The men then proceeded to rob patrons of cash and cellular phones. They also stole a quantity of assorted liquor and removed poker boxes and other items. And after the gunmen fled, Mr. Barnes, who was sitting in his vehicle outside the club, was found with a bullet to the head. He was later pronounced dead at hospital. And just the night before, 7 men robbed a nightclub in the same manner in St. Elizabeth, which is the neighboring parish. Could this be the same men? Onto sports. Despite their CONCACAF Nations League exploits, where the Reggae Boys secured a first ever semi-final appearance and an automatic trip to next year's Copa America, the country remained at 55th in the latest FIFA World Ranking published on Thursday. Jamaica remained number 1 in the Caribbean but 6th in CONCACAF behind the United States, who are 12 in the world. Mexico is in 14th position, Panama, who are 41st, and Canada 48th, and Costa Rica 52nd. World champion Argentina remains number 1, followed by France, England, and Belgium, who move ahead of Brazil, who slipped to 5th. The Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, Italy, and Croatia round out the top 10. Meanwhile, the Reggae Girls have missed out on an automatic qualification for the CONCACAF Gold Cup after being held to a 1-1 draw by Panama at the National Stadium on Wednesday night. Panama controlled the early possession and looked very dangerous on the break and went in front from a penalty spot through Martha Cox in the 31st minute. However, the Jamaicans hit back through Shaniel Buckley on the stroke of halftime to earn a point. The Reggae Girls must now beat Guatemala in their final group game on December 3rd to have any chance of reaching the Women's CONCACAF Gold Cup in 2024 through a playoff. The Reggae Girls will then play away to Guatemala on December 3rd. On to schoolboy football. In the Walker Cup yesterday, St. Andrew Tech whipped Wolmer's 3-0, while Jamaica College had a similar 3-0 victory over Excelsior. So both JC and Stats will clash for the Walker Cup finals on December 8th, while tomorrow Clarendon College and Glenmore will face off in the Champions Cup in a game that can go either way, as both teams are from Clarendon and have equal supporters. And the game will be played at the National Stadium, which is neutral ground to both, so expect the unexpected from this matchup. And if you ever miss the news on this radio station, please go to YouTube, type in Jamaican Undiluted News, listen, like, share, and subscribe to keep it going. That's going to be news and sports on your favorite radio station. My name is Mikey Bones. Have a wonderful day. I gone.